Hey guys, King of Triumphs here. It's your judge, a jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my best budget team for Ultra Premier Classic. This has been the budget team of go-to for several seasons, and despite the meta flipping around, like, I don't know, like you go to IHOP and you get a stack of freaking pancakes, and literally that's how many times the metas have flipped, or like 17 stacks of pancakes, and that's how much meta there is in Pokemon Go right now. But despite that, this team can still do very well. It's weird because Swampert is going to be your safe switch. But you will see a lot in the Shoutcast just how Shadow Swampert with Hydro Cannon can come out and take a win condition for you. So this features Charizard lead, Shadow Swampert as your safe switch, and then Venusaur closes out. Believe it or not, his team actually does pretty dang well. All three of them having legacy movesets. And you need those, but only 10k dust for their second moves. A lot of you probably already have these Pokemon built, so if you can't find any success and you don't have Stardust, this team could be really solid for you, and it's actually taken several people to Legend full budget. Literally full budget in previous seasons. And Ultra Premier Classics meta has actually relatively been the same. Outside of Dragonite leads, this is why we're using Dragon Breath Charizard for this team. But this team is still really good. But before we get started with these battles, this is going to be my therapist mental health of the day. As usual, you can skip this by going a little bit ahead of the video, or you could just go to the description and go to the chapters so that you could go straight to the battles. But for those of you that are interested, because this is very valuable advice from a psychotherapist, this is going to be, so we're talking about budget here, this is the cost of therapy. So I already covered this a lot, but I can't stress enough how to get out the stigma where people say therapy isn't affordable. There are ways that you can play therapy, and there are actually ways to get free therapy. In this case, a number of clinics are actually willing to expand access to healthcare services, especially mental health. So community mental health is often free. It can be free. So states like we have an organization here at my city, Senior Fremont, and they, as long as they give therapy at a very, very affordable rate, or what happens is if you have insurance, your therapy is completely free. Yeah, you don't have to pay for therapy if you have insurance. Or like I mentioned, community mental health, there is a lot of nonprofits out there, etc. As long as there's a therapist willing to take you on their backyard, you can get therapy for free. And therapy can be expensive. Private sessions are $300. However, not to say it is impossible. Like for me as a school clinician, I actually give psychotherapy for my students for free because I work directly for the school district. Pretty cool, huh? But yes, therapy is affordable. Read up on this article, and there might be actually resources out there that are free for you as well. Without further ado, this is my best budget team, the best budget team for Ultra Premier Classic, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so here are the battles. Again, this is budget, triple freaking legacy, and Charizard is going off with Dragon Breath and Blast Burn. Yeah, you kind of need both of them, but as you see here, we get a Crobat. And here's the problem with Crobat. Well, they didn't even need a switch. Trevenant isn't bad. If you get a Shadow Ball through a shield, you can threaten really hard. So my opponent switches to Crobat. Here's the problem here. Crobat does really well against pretty much our entire team. Well, not completely well, but it does resist Mudshots. Hydro Cannon, we can Hydro Cannon it down, but we don't want Venusaur to line up against Crobat because Crobat effectively walls Venusaur. That's why Crobat's really freaking good. It does really well against a lot of different matchups. Like, for example, against Gallade, you do pretty dang well because you wall, even though you can Confusion down, you do wall its charge moves unless you have Secret Noise. So, but what you're gonna do here is we're just gonna send in Swampert. Shadow Hydro Cannon still freaking hurt. This is why we're gonna make you very, very wet. Hashtag get wet, and that sounds really wrong, but you know what? And they have it! Then they come back to Trevenant. Okay, so here's what happens. I'm gonna fire the Hydro Cannon because I want chip damage. Fun fact, if you can't get to Sludge Wave, well, actually, I could probably get to Sludge Wave, but I want to deal as much chip as I can here. Sludge Wave will do a lot of damage, but it won't outright kill, and even though Hydro Cannon's resisted, you will chunk Trevenant just because it's so squishy. So now we have shield advantage, and they swap into Empoleon. So now with this, all we have to do is swap in Venusaur, as you see here, really, really fast. And Empoleon is actually really good for Ultra Premier. The reason I don't like it for budget, though, is because fighters can kill you very hard, and it doesn't have that charge move pressure that this team can do, or Swampert. That's why Swampert's so good. I'm running Sludge Wave. You can run Earthquake. However, the reason I like Sludge Wave is there for the Charmers. So you have a second answer against Charmers, and it hits Trevenant pretty dang hard, and it doesn't completely wall you, even though you could just straight Hydro Cannon like this. As you see here, I called a bait. I kind of need to do that here. Well, I don't really need to do that there, but this Trevenant is like nearly dead. So my opponent needs to bait in order to call the dub, and all I'm going to do is a Frenzy Plant down, and that will kill just because Trevenant's so hurt. You don't really need... Sludge Wave is just there for the extra charge. I noticed a lot of Charmers in the back. That's why I put Sludge Wave. And Earthquake, like I mentioned, it really doesn't give you too much unless you're facing Steel types or against Charmer. Or against... Against Empoleon. Now, as you see here, I get a Politoed. I'm like, wait, why didn't Umbreon swap into me? I'm like, yo, I accidentally went into Open Ultra League. So, make sure y'all double check and make sure you don't accidentally go into Open frickin', yeah. God, man. The good thing is, though, is this is actually, as you see here, Hydro Cannon's chunk. If you get enough extra energy, Swampert can actually just blast down Umbreon in the 2-shield scenario in here. And the funny part is we lost the lead because Politoed beats Charizard super hard because Weather Balls, it only takes 4 mud shots to get to a Weather Ball, which is absolutely nuts. So as you see here, I'm trying to get as much energy as I possibly can. Make sure you time all your moves right. Timing is very important. I time it by looking at the mon visually, so if Go Battle Like happens, it really pisses me off because my visual count is just completely off, and then my subconscious can't register anything because like, wait, dude, you just lagged. As you see here, I'm trying to fire. You want to make sure you get as much energy as because we want to win Switch. You don't want Politoed against Charizard because that's a hard loss. So if I hard lose against Charizard, I literally have no answer against this beast. So luckily, I'm able to get to this final Hydro Cannon here, and this should take out this Umbreon. The problem is Swampert's going to get farmed by something. And it happens to be that Politoed. I try to go for the Sludge Wave just to like measure to see if, hey, maybe I could get there. But I'm unable to, so I'm just going to fire this Hydro Cannon. Shadow Hydro Cannons still do a decent amount of chip damage. And as you see here, I'm going to swap in Venusaur. If they don't have Blizzard, they will swap right away. And the prediction was true. Now we got a Talonflame. I will fire nothing here. My opponent is going to burb me. If they Flame Charge, that's great. If they burb me, what happens here is my Dragon Breath can chunk and I can get to a Dragon Claw. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to, and this really sucks. So, Dragon Claw goes through, but because I had so much extra energy on Venusaur, I should be able to get to a Frenzy Plant, and because burb debuffs the holy crap out of you, this Frenzy Plant should kill. And it does. And now we have a Politoed on the back. One Frenzy Pin will kill at this range. If this is an Earthquake, Earthquake only puts me in about the yellow, as you see here. It does a lot of damage, not quite enough to kill me though, and then I should be able to get the Frenzy Plant, win CMP, and then take out this poor freaking Politoed, and that's GG's. So, again, what did we learn from here? Even though King of Charmanders won, guess what? Make sure you double check that you're going into Ultra Premier Classic, okay? Next up, we got Gallade and a Charizard, which is a great lead. This is why Charizard, the reason why I use Dragon Breath, you'll see later, but it's for the Dragon types. Especially since you might see a lot more Komodos and Dragonites. Our opponent switches into a freaking Gyarados, and my brain is like, okay, what do I do here? Usually what I try to do is if you get his Gyarados switched into, I'll chip it up, and then I'll send in Frenzy Plant. One Frenzy Plant doesn't completely kill Gyarados, but with a little bit of chip damage, you actually can take out Gyarados. So as you see here, I'm going to just get a little bit of extra energy. I'm going to chunk with Frenzy Plant. Venusaur loves seeing Gyarados because Frenzy Plants do neutral damage, and when it's neutral damage, it does a lot of damage. And as you see here, it will take out the Gyarados with chip. Now my opponent has that Gallade, but this is okay because even though I'm going to lose Venusaur, I'm going to go ahead and Frenzy Plant. This should break a shield, and we still have Charizard for this Gallade. The problem is you don't want Gallade to end up against Swampert because one Leaf Blade will kill you because it does so much damage and Gallade's attack is so high. We send in Charizard, you can resist everything this Gallade has to throw at you, so we're going to try to Dragon Claw and break that last shield, and we do. I want them to blow their energy, and we have 2 shields. So with 2 shield, Chomper strat is still very powerful Ultimate Classic, and that's exactly what we're manifesting here. Leaf Blade will go through, this will kill Charizard, but now I got a Swampert with 2 shields. But this could also backfire against you. If there's a Venusaur in the back, you might cry a little bit. But, however, Swampert with 2 shields is very mighty. And as you see, Hydro Cannon will Hydro Cannon this thing down, and we get a Empoleon in the back. Now, you might think I'm screwed because of the fact that I don't have Earthquake. Earthquake would have ended the match here. However, the reason why I like having such a is because this is why. As you see here, Hydro Cannon does a lot of HP damage against Empoleon. And if you time everything right, like over here, you could still come out with the dub. As you see, 2 Hydro Cannons go off, and then all it's going to take is 1 little mud shot for me to win the dub. So because I timed everything right, and I didn't allow any extra ones through, I was able to find out and win the match. Next up, we got Dragonite onto Charizard, and that's Final Boss AJ, so I actually know this person, so this is actually very interesting. I didn't know they were, I didn't know I was matched up against them. You see, I don't actually pay attention when I match up against people, so if you tell me GG's and I don't know you, like someone that I'm like pretty dang close to, I won't recognize your name. And as you see, she's playing Dragonite, but this is why we have Dragon Breath Charizard, because Dragon Breath Charizard loves seeing Dragonite. Dragon Claw will go through, we're going to take one of their shields, and then what's going to happen here is that we can either force this last shield or they win CMP, which is perfectly fine. I get a little bit of extra. I literally will get a little bit of extra energy here. I send in Swampert, get 2 mud shots worth of extra, and now we have shield advantage as well. And that's a Venusaur. This sucks. So I'm gonna swap in Venusaur. I tried to catch a Frenzy Plant, and she has an Empoleon in the back, but this is okay. So, because we have 2-to-1 shield advantage, my Frenzy Plant should go up, but I have to be a little careful here. The reason I have to be careful is because their Venusaur is very loaded, so it has a lot of energy. So this is a good example of where you have to really try to finesse your way to a win condition. Loaded Venusaur does a lot of damage, and we don't want to die to it. I know they're going to get to another one. You can't farm this down without eating another Drill Peck, but this Frenzy Plant should go through and take this Penguin out. And now I have to be able to call this right. I still have 2 shields, so it's not that bad. Frenzy Plant goes off. They call that bait greatly, but I just want them to drain their energy. So we're going to fire this Sludge Bomb. It's going to go through, and it's going to do heavy damage here. And then what we're going to do is that they have to blow their energy. So AJ has to blow their energy here, and then I'm going to shield this one. I'm going to fire my Sludge Bomb, break the shield, and I have energy left on Swampert. Swampert's Hydro Cannons do about 40% on a Venusaur. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Sludge Bomb, they're going to shield, but I have energy on Swampert. So this is going to be able to do heavy damage, and then I should be able to Mud Shot down, or I'll get to another Hydro Cannon. And as you see, I won't be able to Mud Shot down because AG has energy, but the problem is here is I still have not a super healthy bond, but a Venusaur that's all going to take is 1 bind that goes through, and that's GG's. Very well played by AJ. I just had shield advantage at that moment, so it was very unfortunate, and I did win the lead because that's why you have Dragon Breath Charizard for those Dragonites. Next, we got Machamp on a Charizard. This is actually a losing lead from you from heck. This is Legend on Legend action, so I already know this dude knows what he's doing. So here's the thing. What they don't know is that you can actually win this matchup straight cross chop. So if you can literally cross chop your, cross chops do so much damage that it puts a lot of pressure on you, so cross chops can literally just win you the match. That'll put you enough to where you can farm me down. So as you see here, if I call the Rock Slide, it really sucks, but this isn't in their favor as well because of the fact that I'm running Dragon Breath. So they fire Rock Slide, break my second shield, and they come out of this with shield advantage, which is exactly what they want. So even though we won this out, they still have shield advantage. So this is still very dangerous. And Charizard is very prone to water types like Swampert. And I'm like, ah, crap. Okay, here we go. Alright, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to obviously send in Venusaur against this poor Swampert. Here's the problem, though. What's in the back? Having a shield is very dangerous in this cup. So having shield advantage can be very dangerous. In this case, I'm going to die this Hydro Cannon, and then we're going to send in Venusaur. But this is a Shadow Swampert, so I can do a lot of chip damage with Vine Whip. So as you see, we send in Venusaur, and our opponent switches into Wall Raid. They still have a shield, but this is actually okay. The reason why this is okay is because Frenzy Plant does a ton of damage, and if it goes through like this did, oh my gosh, it will put you in the red. This is where they made a mistake. You definitely should have shielded that Frenzy Plant. I'm gonna send in Swampert now, and now they're in danger because I'm gonna be able to KO them with Hydro Cannons. So they're gonna fire an Icicle Spear here. If they take out my Wall Raid, Venusaur can possibly get to a move. If they're not running Earthquake, this is GG's. Or if they do run an Earthquake, and I live with like a little bit. Might be a little bit of HP, live with a little bit, just because of the fact I'm still in the green. My opponent is really smart here. I should have kept fast moving down to force a simultaneous KO. That's what I should have done. So to make this play a little cleaner, because now as you see here, that Swampert's going to get extra farm. But this works out anyways because I just want more chip damage on their Swampert. So as you see, I'm going to fire this Vine Whip, and then one more Vine Whip should go through, and because it's double super effective, Swampert goes down, and this budget team is absolutely freaking amazing. Charizard lead, Swampert safe switch, and Venusaur close out. Because of charge root pressure, this team is amazing, and that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. And that's game! I hope y'all enjoyed the video. As you see, freaking this team actually went off. I was surprised how much I was able to play out of Trev being thrown in my face with this team, and it's actually pretty nuts at how good it is. But not to say it does take a little bit, it does take some time to get used to. No, seriously, it took a while. Like, you're trying to put everything together was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I figured out Shadow Swampert actually is way better than the regular one, and with Sludge Wave, you can get win conditions against fairies against the back. So the only target you will have for Earthquake is going to, in a lot of scenarios, is literally going to be just Empoleon. So, but this team is incredibly solid, and for budget, again, it's done incredibly well. So I hope y'all enjoy this. Do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe, and comment for the algorithm. I really do appreciate y'all that do it. Even if it's a random comment, it really does like shoot the algorithm up. So I really do appreciate y'all. If I don't get back to you the first day, usually I try to comment every single one or like them, and I will try to get back to as much as I can. But I'm busy though. I also stream on Twitch Friday through Sunday, so if you check me out on there as well, come and say hi. You don't have to, but like saying hi is cool, you know what I mean? I appreciate it. Just like I appreciate every single one of you. I do appreciate the support. I do appreciate y'all. And this year has been a blast, thanks to all of you guys. Maybe not so much of a blast for Go Battle because it's still lagging. I've lost like 2 battles to lag today, so the whole like trying to catch up in the middle when your Pokemon's literally dead, and well, you will never launch a charge move because it just fast forwards everything. But despite this, and the fact Niantic even screwed up, you know, it's funny thing, they actually screwed up the Safari in South Korea as well. Yep, your new Safari, they screwed that up too. Oh, Niantic. How often do you screw up? A lot of times, but that's why this game will never be a huge esport, because it's just broken as heck and Niantic don't care. But, without further ado, do me a huge favor, good luck on your Go Valley sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.